Tonight we are dining at Los Lobos on board the Norwegian Dawn. If you don't know, we do dining reviews every single Monday, so be sure to check those out. Los Lobos is one of the specialty restaurants here on board the Norwegian Dawn, and we have not been able to experience this before. So on our last cruise on the Pearl, they did not have a Mexican restaurant, so we are really excited to try this tonight. The menu looks fantastic. We just had our tableside guacamole made, and everything smells fantastic, and I love the theming in the restaurant. It's nice bright colors. There's some yellow for the booths, and then there's rainbow placemats. There's some of the decorative skulls on the walls, and just a beautiful view of the ocean out the window. We did get a nice window seat here tonight. But specialty restaurants on Norwegian Cruise and any other cruise line are an additional fee, so just keep that in mind. You can also get a little dining package as well, so that you can prepay for that in advance. And yeah, we're excited to dig in tonight.
For one of our appetizers tonight, we went with the tableside guacamole, which I always love to get because, you know, it's fresh made right there in front of your eyes, which is great. And they do give you the option to kind of customize the guacamole just a little bit between the onions, cilantro, tomatoes, jalapenos, all of those great things. You can kind of add a little bit more, take a little bit away if you want. I'm excited to dive in because I love guacamole. Also, whenever you'd hear, your meal already comes with chips and salsa, which is really nice. And what I love is that they give you a white and blue corn tortilla chips, and they already have like some nice salt all over them, so they're good. Good way to start. Cocktails tonight here at Los Lobos. I went with the Mexican Mule. This is their twist on a mule, which is vodka and ginger beer topped with a float of their signature margarita, which here, their signature margarita is frozen. So basically they do your Moscow Mule standard, and then they actually fill it at the top with the frozen margarita. I stirred it around because they serve cardboard straws. I forgot our metal straws, so I don't do that. So I just stirred it up, and it's really good. I like the combination. It gives you more of like that. It gives you a mix between a Moscow Mule and a margarita vibe, and I'm okay with that because I don't really like tequila that much unless it's specific brands. So this is good. I'm liking it.
For my cocktail tonight, I had the Tropical Paloma. This is a Patron Silver Tequila, passion fruit, lime juice, simple syrup, and grapefruit soda. This is a wonderful tequila cocktail. It is very smooth and doesn't have that bite that sometimes comes along with tequila. I love all the flavors in here. It's very fruity, a little garnished with a little lime in there too, and I will probably have another one of these with dessert. Another appetizer we got tonight was the queso fundido. This is queso served in a skillet, and it is topped with Mexican...
I'm sorry, what?
Mexican. I sipped the tequila too fast. Topped with Mexican chorizo sausage, and then it's served with corn tortillas on the side. So queso fundido is an appetizer that you can't get everywhere, but when I can get it, I definitely will because it is so tasty. And I love how stretchy the cheese is, and then you just put it inside the tortilla, kind of eat it up like a taco, and then the chorizo on top of there just gives it some extra flavor. The cheese is already good on its own, but the chorizo just has a really nice flavor, some great seasoning in there, and overall, the food has been very wonderful so far. I really enjoyed the salsa and the guacamole, and we still have our entrees and possibly even dessert after that.
So Taylor mentioned that the restaurant here is a additional fee. It's a specialty restaurant, so it's not included. And this is actually something that Norwegian started they started a while ago. But the reasoning here is when you think about coming to some of the restaurants and you have to pay one fee, a lot of the times it's kind of expensive to come in and eat if you're not all that hungry with the rest of everybody else, right? So if Taylor and I come in to sit down, and let's say it costs $50 a person to come in here and eat, and sure, we get to select several things off the menu, which is great. But on the other hand, what's really nice now though, being that this restaurant is a la carte and some of their other restaurants are a la carte, is that if I'm really hungry and I want to eat 5 different things off the menu, I can do that. And I can still pay almost $50 for all of those items. But the kicker here is, and which is really nice, is that if Taylor's not that hungry and she just wants to eat something that, you know, maybe an appetizer or maybe just one entree, then we don't have to pay $50 for her to eat just one thing. And I actually really like that, because then I don't feel like I'm forced to eat a bunch of food, and I don't think Taylor feels like she's forced to eat a bunch of food. So even though tonight we are using part of our free at sea, which is a $50 credit per person for 2 specialty restaurants, we might not use that whole $50 per person, but it's really nice to know that like we can kind of come in and sit down and not have to pay so much to eat if we don't really want to. Does it make sense? Hope it does. Reasoning to me makes sense. Hopefully I explained it well.
For my entree tonight, I had the Carne Asada. This is a grilled skirt steak marinated in guajillo chilies and tequila, and it's served with corn tortillas and then a side of salsa verde. This was an excellent carne asada. The marinade on that steak was absolute perfection. I wasn't expecting anything like super crazy, just kind of like a marinated steak, but those flavors, my eyes like lit up whenever I tasted it. It was so good. And I really liked that it was served with the corn tortillas on the side. I love a good corn tortilla, and these ones here were very good. Kind of ate up the carne asada like a taco, and there were actually peppers served on top as well. So it was just kind of added to the dish, and overall, it's very good.
For my entree tonight, I went with enchiladas, and I did basically a seafood enchilada, which I've never seen before. I figured when in Rome, or in a Mexican restaurant, you know, go for it. This was scallops, shrimp, mahi-mahi, tomato, caldillo, queso fresco, and cilantro. This was $19 and was really good. I think I was expecting it. I'm so used to having chicken enchiladas where it's shredded, mixed with some cheese in there. You get a little bit of stringiness sometimes. And of course, like obviously, like that was not the case with this. There was no cheese stuffed inside because really cheese, for the most part, doesn't really go well with seafood. But for all of those weird expectations that I had for a dish that I shouldn't have had, this was fantastic. Really, really great. Everything in there was cooked very well, not overdone. And I think what I also really liked about it was that tomato caldillo's like sauce that was like spread over the top. It was really good. And of course, served on the side was refried beans and rice. And to be honest with you, the serving sizes here are very, very large. Between Taylor's entree and my entree, and splitting guacamole and some queso fundido, it was a lot. So I would say that if you're interested in coming here, this is a great place to come in, maybe order 2 appetizers and an entree and just split it. And so already you are saving a lot of money to begin with, whether you're going a la carte or, well, obviously you have to go a la carte, but if you don't get a dining plan or a credit basically, then go that way. I would love to come back and have some guacamole, queso fundido again, and then just share the carne asada with Taylor, because it was really, really good. Also, I got elotes. This is Mexican street corn, and they actually bring it out to the table and then they carve it right off of the cob, which is kind of a nice touch. Saves me from getting it all through my teeth from eating it off the cob. Really good, traditional, exactly what you would expect. So it was only $5, so I think it's a decent type of side for the price, in my opinion. So really good restaurant. For dessert, we went with fried beignets. A little bit more tamer for my palate as far as sweets go. This is served with brown sugar syrup and guava puree, basically. And the beignets have a little bit of cinnamon over the top of them. They're pretty good. I like them to be almost a little bit more airy and puffy. But as they come out, they're kind of like these discs, and they're still really good. I'll tell you what, though, nothing beats New Orleans. All right, so we just finished eating in Los Lobos, the one of the signature restaurants or specialty restaurants here on Norwegian Cruise Line's Dawn ship. Food was excellent.
The food was really good. And I overall enjoyed everything that we had tonight. The drinks, the appetizers, entree. Dessert was a little bit dry, but it was good with all of the sauces.
And I say this, I don't say it often enough, but the experience that we have isn't always going to be the same experience that you guys will have.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're going to have a really great experience. Sometimes you guys won't. And unfortunately tonight we had really good food, but the service was just really, really slow.
It was.
And that could have been from multiple factors. They may have just been kind of nervous because we had the camera out and we're trying to film and do stuff like that. It might be totally on us, but it took us 2 hours to eventually be able to leave the restaurant.
Yeah. Which normally we're okay with a long meal, but when we're cruising, we typically eat pretty quick meals, like an hour or less sometimes.
Drink?
You want a drink?
Sorry, we had to order drinks. We're in the show. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it happens. I will say that we observed other people in the restaurant and their turnover was much quicker than ours. And I think that they still really enjoyed all the food that they had. So the restaurant was not busy, which was the other reason, which was kind of frustrating that it took as long as it did. But like I said, food was fantastic.
Yes.
And the food on Norwegian, I swear by this, it is literally like some of the best food that we've had at sea.
Norwegian cruise food is very good.
Topping Disney, which Disney is known for some really good food.
They are, yeah.
Norwegian has been doing really well. So
yeah.
But
let us know if you have ever dined at any specialty restaurant on Norwegian or any other cruise line, or if you have been to Los Lobos on Norwegian Cruise Line. What?
We'll see you on the next one.